Hey again to the other segment of Untitled KKP show. So the embargoes for the games I can talk about should have been lifted. I'll start with the first one. So if you want to check out what we talked about in the previous bits, you can check out the link at the top or whatever that's popping up on this particular screen. Yep, and let's just go. Let's go. So I played a lot of Lumines Arise, which is the new upcoming puzzle game from Enhance. This is actually the Q Entertainment people, the people who have done Tetsuya Mizuguchi and company, the people who created Lumines, who made Rez and Shallow Eden. That's the other one. Yes, that's correct. So Lumines Arise is basically a new Lumines game. If you played that on the PSP, you have played this game, although there is a new mechanic which I'll explain later. So for those who are not familiar with the puzzle game, so basically you have a small grid like Tetris, but more more horizontal than vertical. You put blocks down, you want to clear them, but you only can clear them once a timeline from left to right have passed through the block. So you basically need to arrange the blocks in 2x2, 4x4 formations, 2x2 formations connecting each other, and then the timeline will wipe it out as soon as it crosses to the right side through. So you have to arrange them before the timeline goes through everything. You have to make sure to arrange the blocks in a way, because you got two colors, you gotta mix and match so that there are 2x2s connecting each other before the timeline hits from left to right. And usually the timeline follows the beat of the music and the tempo and the fret. So let's just say you sometimes on an easier stage, the timeline goes by really fast. On a much tougher stage, the blocks you put down come down really fast, and the timeline gets by really, really slow. So your verse is very, very long. And yes, this is where synesthesia comes into play. The melding of music and gameplay and sights and sounds combined together for a really awesome oral and visually stimulating experience. And the holy crap, Lumines Arise is a game you want to play when you want to actually zone out and just play through the game. I suggest putting it on easy, so you have a much easier time playing through the game while enjoying the sounds and sights. But if you want to challenge yourself and get the highest score on the leaderboards, yes, play it on the toughest difficulty. Yes. So you got a couple of modes. You got journey mode, where you go through like different stages where they have 4 to 5 different tracks per stage, and the stage are named after different emotions and feelings. Really, really cool blockbuster kind of stuff. I should actually record myself playing the game. Yeah, I'll put more gameplay footage on that so you can take a look and see what I mean. Obviously, I can't put the music on the video because it's all copyrighted stuff, but I can tell you, music from Hidelic and Takako Ishida, it's all beautiful stuff being played. And the visuals that come with it, sometimes you got different kind of visuals. You got like club music visuals, you've got like seashore and shells kind of visuals, and whatnot. You've got like breezy flowers, you've got jungle beats and jungle patterns here. You've got acorn and snow as well. You got so many different types of visual cues and visual themes and stages. They're all beautiful. There's nothing to hate here. This is like, they're too much to mention. Again, I guess my favorite is the acorn with the squirrel, because we have the little squirrels popping up when you climbing up the blocks, especially the acorn blocks. When you clear them up, you can see them skittering around and getting out of the way. And it's not distracting too. That's the cool part. It is very well made, where you can actually see what's standing out and what's part of the background and what is fluff. Again, this is all done really well and probably been playtested to heck so that the music cues come in and the way the music and the stage evolve with different frets and different verses of the music or different bridges. It's really, really well done. I'd say this game, again, I think there's also like battle modes, burst mode, where you have to clear the entire board online, get the highest score within one chain. Yes, this is a puzzle game, so chains in Puyo Puyo, they're also very, very, they're part and parcel of the gameplay and everything. That's tough to do. But yeah, if you're really good at calculating and foreseeing and arranging blocks and lining them up proper chain by chain. That's going to be your jam. You've also got like 1v1 battle modes, and and also multiplayer, local, and online, and we got VR modes, which is, again, that's something you kind of want to put on. It's an added option, but it's actually well welcome, especially when you got the Oculus, you've got the Index, or you got the PSVR 2 if you haven't sold it off yet. You can also get a hang with the game's mission mode, which is basically tutorial and completion mode all rolled into one. So you learn how the game is played, you learn the mechanics and some of the techniques, and then you put that to practical use by clearing the blocks you have in front of you. You either do chains or just complete it by combining all the blocks in one go. You have one timeline just wiping everything out in one big chunk. So this is really, really cool stuff, the way it's been presented, and really, really awesome stuff right there. I mean, there are mere words to really, really very, very visually stimulating. I think that would be the key word right there. Like, again, like I forgot to mention, the one interesting new mechanic is bursts. I think that's what it's called. So whenever you clear blocks or do combos, you get to fill up a percentage, and when that percentage is filled up to 100% or even 50%, you turn that on, you stop time, you stop the timeline. No, the timeline goes on, but you stop the blocks from falling. You basically, when you have a big block in the middle of you, the opposing color blocks will get kicked out. So your objective while you freeze time is you make as big of a block as possible, and then all the opposite color blocks will actually go up. And then once you clear the big block, the secondary color comes down, and you get to clear that after the burst time has counted down to 0. So it's a very useful last minute ditch effort to stop time, especially when your entire pool is filled up with blocks and you're kind of screwed yourself because of the game's copious amount of using checkered blocks to screw you over, and it requires a bit more timing and forward planning. And yeah, it's a really good mechanic to stop time and everything, especially, and also a good way to clear the entire board, especially when you've already got one big block being built in the center or at the side or the left or the right side. Stop time, you build the entire block so it kicks out the other colors, then they'll come down later after burst time has stopped. So that's a really cool, simple mechanic, simple addition, but it works really well in terms of like making your life a little easier while also trying not to get too distracted by the visuals and really cool stuff popping in. So overall, I would give this game a 80 out of 100. It is a good comeback for Lumines Arise. I think it just needs a couple more single player modes. I think it's more like a good balance for people who want a challenge and to play and to zone out. But I think the key thing about Lumines Arise is the way it's presenting itself. The presentation is off the charts, 100%. This is basically Tetris Rising, Tetris Rise, Tetris Arisen, Tetris Effect, but in a more of Q Entertainment's jam, which is Lumines, the puzzle game they created on their own side. And I guess it just comes full circle, so good job at Hans for bringing Lumines back in 2025, so totally jamming out with that. I also played a bit of Possessors, or rather 8 hours of Possessors until I got stuck. So the game is from Heart Machine, the makers of Hyper Light Drift, and the other game that came out earlier this year, Hyper Light Awakener. They did Solar Edge, Solar Rising. That was a really cool action game. The roguelike they did this year wasn't that hard, but I didn't actually touch it, so I can't really say. But I did like Hyper Light Drifted. That was cool stuff. So Possessors is actually their latest metroidvania title. It should be out on... this will be like a different section, I guess. Maybe I should just have this video popping up like on on the 12th. Just have it all in one go, Yeah. So Possessors is a 2D metroidvania. You play a girl named Luca who got possessed by a devil after she nearly died from an explosion. Last ditch effort for her, and now she has powers like a demon. She can attack with kitchen knives and baseball bats. She can jump. She can wall jump. She can do a whip attack that lets her grapple onto grappling hooks a la Castlevania. And you've got a bunch of areas you can explore, get power-ups you get to collect in different corners here and there. The combat is pretty cool, although a bit static, because when you jump in an arc, when you do an attack, it stops your momentum and you fall down straight. So you can do combos with that, but it doesn't help with your momentum. So whenever you want to run, you have to commit to running, because when you attack halfway, you fall down straight to the ground, just vertically down. Yeah. But when you're actually running, and when you're actually dodging mid-air or dodging and doing your ground pound attack, the momentum gets kept as long as you don't do anything other than attacking. So I really dig the movement once you get used to the fact that it's not going to control like Hollow Knight Silksong or Blasphemous or any other Metroidvania you've played for the past 2-3 years. It's a little different, but something that's really welcome. The art style and everything, whenever you get to the vistas of the broken down town you're in, because you're actually in a town owned by a corporation that's basically using demons as energy. So when the explosion and everything happen, you can see the after effects and everything, and demons running amok who are going feral and attacking your main character. And you get to meet like colorful characters here and there. They're demons who possess objects, because if they possess humans or living matter, they go full feral, unless you're skillful like Wright, the demon that you're controlling. Yeah. So you got a nice little banter between Luca and the demon who's possessing you. Really cool bantering where the demon's actually kind of rude but open and blunt, and Luca is being pragmatic in a way. She's a kid, but she learns the ways of the world as you get through the hellscape that is the broken down city you're in, and finding out whether your mom is alive. Like I said, I'm actually stuck halfway in the game, so maybe I'll just wait for like a bunch of the guides to come up, because again, among all the Metroidvanias I've played, this is the one where it's very obtuse. Maybe there's a bug I come across and it's a bit too late for me to... Because by the time I'm recording this, I think it's about a few more hours until the embargo lifts and all that prior to recording. So this could be out 1 AM on November the 12th, which is when the embargo lifts. Together, Lumines Arise. I'm just going to put it all together, I guess. Have it come out on the 12th of November, Malaysian time. So yeah, I like the art style. The music's very melancholy and very soft and somber, so it's going for a serious tone right there. So a very promising Metroidvania. The design could be less obtuse. I do wish the game marked important spots automatically, because I was running back and forth trying to figure out what I was missing and what power-up I needed. I kind of wish... The backtracking is very tedious for this game so far. My opinion might change, but for now, I'm giving this a 7 or 6 or so, 70, 60 for now. Once I complete the game, which is in a couple of probably after the review's out, I'm gonna go back to it, see if there's anyone who actually made it further than I did in the next few days, and just go from there. I mean, it's a very promising game. I really want to finish this game because I want to see the development and how the story unfolds between Luca and the demon, right? Yeah. And how their plight was, and whether the demons run free or not. It's a really cool storyline, and I wish the structure of the game can be better and a little bit more obvious. And here's the funny thing: I actually finished Hollow Knight Silksong, and I know what my roadblocks are, which is the bosses. Here in Possessors, the roadblock is the level design. So I think Heart Machine needs to maybe rethink of what they can do here and there. There's probably a couple of bugs or two I came across, so I will revisit this game definitely later, because it's got a very interesting premise. I really want to get to it, so maybe a full review will be out in a couple of days once I finish it, so stay tuned for that. Yes. And speaking of running, I have checked out the Running Man remake for 2025. The embargo for this should have lifted as well, I guess. Yeah, so this stars Glenn Powell. He was actually the main character in Twisters, and he was actually one of the side characters in Top Gun Maverick. He's the guy who looks like that one guy from Titus, the brother. And the main character, he looks like the main character from Postal, that old ass Weibo video game adaptation, but better looking and more muscular. Got the orange hair thing going on. So Glenn Powell plays Ben Richards. He is a 28. He is basically a guy who is blacklisted from working because he was actually standing up for his people, and because he's out of funds to help his child and wife. He actually has trying out a bunch of like game shows in this very dystopian future where violence is rewarded and everything. After a fitness test and everything, he ends up becoming a contestant in the reality TV show The Running Man, where basically you have to avoid being hunted by enemies after a 12-hour head start. Avoid getting hunted by the hunters as you survive the entire month, 30 days. You actually get you get the full prize pot for winning the entire thing. You will get money coming in if you survive each day, and a bunch of bonuses if you kill off the hunters and everything. This is a Stephen King novel written in 1982, so you can see how forward-thinking Stephen King is. Really, really awesome story and premise, and something that is very relevant in this day and age because of the way that people are running the country, the entire world these days, where entertainment gets and then news and everything, fake news, everything gets spun out of control. You get to see a lot of that happening in this movie adaptation from Edgar Wright, the director of the Cornetto trilogy, with Hot Fuzz being my favorite. And yeah, a show like a premise like The Running Man is anything but subtle, and the way the movie is just bludgeoning its ideals and messaging like a sledgehammer to your face, like an 80s film. But the thing is, it actually works well with Edgar Wright's style of directing. I like the jump cuts, I like the action, I like how the music comes in, and I like how everything flows really well here and there. Like, it's like a restrained MTV kind of editing, music video editing kind of style, but again, like restrained, where you can actually follow what's going on. Like, nothing is really too quick when it comes to showcasing the action, and also getting to the good bits of how Ben Richards lives his life, how he actually evades the hunters, how he goes through surviving the entire 30 days or so, and seeing how he communicates with the CEO, what's his name again? Dan Killian, the guy who runs the Running Man show and the network and everything, the XX. And you also got like cutting intro of the Running Man show itself, hosted by the NTN host called Bobby T. You've got really cool acting works from Coleman Domingo, who plays Bobby T. You also got Josh Brolin, he plays Dan Killian. A couple of others, William H. Macy, Lee Pace, and Michael Cera plays a guy named Elliot who helps out Ben Richards to do some things halfway in the show. And his appearance, while short, but is also pretty memorable in terms of like how he contributes to the plot and everything. So all in all, this show, I mean, again, it only drags like probably at the third act, and even then, we're at the part where Ben Richards comes across extra baggage. Let's just say that. But it's all sorted out really quick, and gets back to the action and to its very epic and modified conclusion. The ending differs a lot from the book itself, but the way it's been framed, especially with some hints and whatnot in the middle of the show, it worked out really great. So I'm okay with this change compared to the novel. So this is probably as novel accurate as you can get in terms of Stephen King books to film. So really good job right there. Running Man is my highest recommendation. Really awesome dystopian action film. It hits all the right notes. Has the messaging being put across, although it's being bludgeoned to your face. And Glenn Powell is a leading star material. So good show, everything and whatnot. So highest recommendation, giving this show a 90 out of 100. And do check it out. It should be out in cinemas on the 13th of November. 13, right? Yeah. This week. And that is it for me. That's all the stuff I reviewed for the past few days or so. Thanks again for tuning in. This is me, Mr Toffee, signing out. Do check out our website and our YouTube channel. Got 150,000 subscribers. Thanks a lot for tuning into our show and also our other content. And we'll have more stuff coming out in the near future. So So stick right on. Do subscribe if you haven't, and see you then. Bye bye.